Thanks for having me.
Oh man, thanks for coming on. I had a show on Friday
Oh yeah?
in Brea, Ohio. Brea, Ohio.
Where the hell's that?
It's well, we'll get to that. But I bombed my ass off.
Really?
I did. I bombed so hard. I don't know why. It seems like my just normal state is shit talking.
Yeah.
Like I roast people. If you're my friends, you get roasted. That's just what happens. And came out on stage. I didn't realize that we were only a couple blocks from the Browns headquarters.
Oh.
And boy, oh boy, did I go in on the Browns. And they started hating on me. And some guy in the audience said, "We beat you twice this year." And I screamed at him, "How many championships have you won?" And I've never heard the room go more silent.
Oh jeez.
And there was no winning them back after that. It was a rough night. Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Inquisitive Minds podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Johnny Smith. With me today, my guest is the man behind Idiot Radio. He is the host of the PP Boys, and he holds some very obscure records. Welcome to the program, Todd DeFazio.
Hey, this is weird to be on this side of it.
Yeah, man, it's
I sit here and
he's my producer, so he's the guy in the background, sometimes chuckling. I think once he fell asleep. But,
long night of drinking.
But he's here for all the episodes, and you guys listen to all of them. He's heard some odd stuff, some different things.
It's opened my eyes to a lot of things.
Yeah, man. Any thoughts on anything sticks out to you that you've learned from sitting in on these?
Well, I mean, the Hayes family is amazing.
Yeah.
Some of the advice that they gave in the first episode was I've kind of used it in real life and it worked. So
Yeah, absolutely.
we talked about it off air, but yeah, it worked. So I got a lot out of that episode, and just seeing the crazy Bigfoot stuff and the casts. And
I didn't know Bigfoot and UFO had a connection until that episode. With the Hayes family, this last episode, I was depressed for about a week afterwards.
Really?
Yes, because Scott said he wakes up every morning and gets a cold shower.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to start my day fucking hard. I'm going to get a cold shower. Yeah, let's get it. And every day, for like 6 days, I'd get up and be like, we're going to fucking do this. And I'd turn on the shower and feel the cold, and I'd say, I can't do it, and turn on the hot. And I just felt like such a pussy. Like I would be in the shower just like, oh, you're such a bitch, John. Like, it really fucked with my head. So, Todd, you want to tell us about, I guess first how Idiot Radio came to be?
Oh, okay, that's a good story. Back in the early 2000s, there were no podcasts. Podcasts didn't come around until about 2004, 2005. Me and my buddies, we were just drinking one night. We liked Howard Stern. I think that was around the time all the rumblings of him leaving to go to Sirius and all that came about. And
he got a big chunk of money over that, didn't he?
Yeah, he's still getting working part-time, too. We would just do the we decided one day, hey, I was a DJ, bar DJ, and a couple of my buddies DJ'd with me, and we were drunk one night. We were like, you know what, Howard's going away. Let's just come up with an idea. So we just started doing a radio show on CDs. We would record them on CDs, and then we had we charged people like $10 a year or something like that. And I think we had like 30 subscribers or something.
Hey,
and we would just mail the CDs out to people. And a lot were local. We'd hand some of them out in the bar. And so that was basically the concept before podcasts. And then podcasts came along and technology came along. The show was called The Village Idiots. It was my friends I grew up with. And we had a blast. It was kind of like the illegitimate love child of Jackass and Howard Stern.
Okay.
Like, we were doing, like, crazy stunts and, like, doing videos. And at that time, there really wasn't anywhere to put them, but we had them. And then MySpace came around, and that kind of changed everything a little bit. And then YouTube came, and we started doing things there. And we did that, and then podcasts came, and we started evolving that way. And we did a show on We were still doing the Village Idiot show, but we evolved. Twitch that's out now
Okay.
was called Justin.tv.
I
And
did not know that, by the way.
yeah,
I had no idea.
and it was a little bit of a different platform, and nobody was really using it. They were kind of using it like a social way. So we came up with the concept. Actually, a friend of mine gave me the idea. He's like, go on this Justin.tv and check it out. Because we were using Ustream, but our content was too dirty, and we always would get kicked off.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
So we were on this platform. We were recording our podcast, and then we were sending it out. And that was our way to go live, like a radio show. And we would take phone calls and things like that. And it worked out great. But now it's the normal. Everybody's doing it. We were doing this in like 2009, I think.
Yeah.
You know, on the Justin.tv.
For people that don't know, you have a very nice setup here. Looks very complex and all that. Just as a description from a man who doesn't know much, a lot of wires, a lot of things plugged in.
It's
going
grown.
on here.
It's kind of like just, okay, we're gonna do this now. We're gonna add this. We're gonna add that.
But at minimum, right now, people can record a podcast with their cell phone.
Right? Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
The technology's a little different. I kind of modeled our studio after a radio studio, and different radio studios I worked in over the years, and just kind of added it like that. But so we were doing all this crazy concepts, and we were doing bar shows and things like that. And then we ended up, somebody told the Bucket and Bubba morning show about us.
Okay.
And we ended up, Mud, our one of our co-hosts, we dressed him up like a leprechaun. He's a big black guy, so we called him the Chubby Chocolate Leprechaun.
Oh, that's great.
And it got over so well. And B94 brought us in. And what got their attention was I was doing this bar bit where I would get darts thrown in my butt. We called it bum darts.
Now, this is, darts were actually
Steel tip darts, yeah.
Todd, okay. All right. Bro, first off, how do you know you can do that? Like, what?
I have a really weird pain tolerance.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I think it's not as crazy as it was when I was older, or now that I'm older, but when I was younger, they would just it was just insane the things I could do. And
okay, so who was throwing the darts?
we would get girls in bikinis.
Okay. I don't like to go low brow. We get anyone throw one go a little too close to the center.
I'd have to put the picture up on the screen in the post, but we made a dartboard. There was a lot of thought that went into this. We made a dartboard, and we cut two butt cheeks out of it, and we had a line down the middle where the crack is, and that was where the numbers were for your scoring.
Ah, okay.
So that's how, because it scored. It wasn't a sport if you didn't have a score.
Fair enough.
So I would have two guys hold it. Now, over all the years that we did it, we would do it we did it on the road. We did it at every major club in Pittsburgh, at the Sports Rock Cafe at the time, Bubba's Ugly, High Tops. We've done it in some pretty major places. And then like local bars too. And we did a big birthday bash, and my mother was there. She's the only person in the history of bum darts to miss the dartboard and hit me in the leg.
Oh.
The dart was in my thigh.
Mom, goddamn.
But she's a good sport about it because we've been doing crazy stuff to her over the years. Like, there's a 6'8" guy, Big Mike. I sent him to my mom's house in a diaper.
Oh, Jesus.
One time.
That's a
for
large
Mother's
fella.
Day. Yeah.
Now, let me ask. You said you were a DJ before that first show you started doing on CD. Were you also a DJ professionally, like working in a radio setting, or did that come after
I
you
didn't,
started?
This is why this all came about, because I was a DJ, just doing bars and clubs and weddings here and there, but I worked at regular jobs, so I didn't have time to. That's a full-time business, and you have to invest in it. And I didn't have that. I just wanted to, kind of go out and drink and have a good time, and that's where the idea started. I did like proms and dances, and so I was just a DJ. And then my buddies they're all big guys. You've seen most of them,
yeah.
And they were the bouncers.
Fair enough.
We would hang out while we were working, and then we'd hang out afterwards. And So we came up with the idea to do this radio show, and I knew that there's a million producers out there, a million people, and now it's even easier for people to do this stuff. So my way to stand out and make a name for myself was to be one of my idols growing up was Bubba from B94.
Okay.
And him, Jim Crenn, and Howard Stern were the three guys that I wanted to be like. And Bubba in the 80s was doing crazy things on the radio. It's like, I'm going to do that. So that's where all the crazy stuff came from.
So that term like shock jock, would you say like kind of inspired
Howard was a shock jock, and then we had that jackass genre.
Yeah, that's doing wild stuff with your body.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating. Since you mentioned that, sometimes those guys take it too far.
Yeah.
Like, not, like, get injured as much as you want, but, like, when Steve-O's sticking fireworks in his ass crack, I'm like, all right, that's enough.
That's one of my... I have a firework world record.
Well, you know what? Good segue. I didn't know that. Let's hear about it.
Okay. So, we got on the radio. We got on the radio for doing, the crazy things, and we brought Mud the Leprechaun in, and we brought...
Which is a great idea, by the way, that leprechaun.
Yeah.
That guy's huge.
And now we've morphed it into even better. Because Mud has a legitimate office job, and he can't do anything crazy anymore.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty high profile city government job. So we kind of put it on the shelf for a while, and we got Howie D. Mack, a Pittsburgh comedian.
Oh, Howie! Shout out to Howie.
Chubby Chocolate Leprechaun 2.0.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yes, and he is more successful than the first one because of his charisma, his personality.
Yeah.
And
I feel like I'm going to hell if I feed anything.
When he walks into the room, I mean, it's the greatest thing ever. And I'll put pictures of it up.
That'd be great.
You can't appreciate it unless you see it. And
Howie.
So all that stuff happened. We're kind of fast forwarding a little bit, but we ended up becoming regulars on B94's Buckhead and Bubba. Test Dummy Tuesday. And I just kept working my way into this.
Oh, so weekly.
We were at a weekly spot.
Oh, that's great.
Test on Me Tuesday. So I'm getting to work with the guy I idolized, Bubba. And then Buckhead was another guy. He was the main host. And then we become part of this show. And then I just start integrating myself into the entire radio station. I'm showing up at events. I'm doing stuff with promotions. I'm showing up on the afternoon drive show. I'm showing up on the night show doing the top 8 at 8, which was so cool because the top 8 at 8 when growing up was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then I'm just trying to learn everything. I became friends with a guy, the Ron Man, who did promotions and fill-ins. But he was like a staple in the whole radio station. He showed me a lot of stuff, and he was really cool. But then I really found a niche on the afternoon drive with one of my mentors. His name is Kobe, DJ Kobe. And he showed me the business side of things. I kind of knew the audio side and the technical side, but then he showed me the business side of things.
Real quick, before you get into the business side of things, you said you already at this point had understanding of all the technical stuff.
Yeah.
How long did that take? Because as I sit here and look at this, I'm overwhelmed. At all the wires, I'm overwhelmed.
It's simpler than it really is. I mean, it looks...
And as many wires as there are, there's digits and dials, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it looks worse than it is, but it's not so bad. But
you say that, and then I'm like, hey, I can't quite hear my volume. I seen you touch 13 different buttons. I'm like, all right, you should be good now.
It's just the way I like to do it.
Right.
And like I said, I've modeled this studio after everything I liked about every studio I've ever worked in.
So he started teaching you the business side.
Yeah, and to this day he's a good friend, and he's in Syracuse, New York, doing a rock station.
Oh, okay.
Now, so this was a big jump for him. It was a big change because he was always top 40. But it just shows how you evolve in this business.
Now, at this time when you're doing this stuff with the radio station, is this also the time where satellite radio is on the rise?
Yeah, satellite, and then HD came into play, which isn't really much of anything now.
Yeah, with someone on the inside of that perspective, what was the talk like about that? Was there talk of the competition? What could potentially happen?
I think originally when Howard left, it was a big deal. I came in right after everything kind of calmed down.
Mm-hmm.
Because B94 didn't come about, B94 2.0 didn't come about until later. Because they tried to do, they had Howard. They brought Howard from the X to 93.7 The Zone or something like that. So they had like an all like man like radio station for Howard. And then Roth came in and failed. And then they had like Opie and Anthony and Kid Chris, and we'll get into Kid Chris too eventually. But the world records came about where we were going into that. Kobe and I became really good friends, and a lot of people from B94 like were fans of B94 will know who Kobe is. He was the afternoon drive, and he's like, dude, you should go and do these things that Fallon's doing. And I'm like, what is he doing? It was right when I think Jimmy just took over the Tonight Show at that point.
Okay.
And he was doing world records. And recordsetter.com, which was, I think it was urdb.org. They changed their name. So Kobe's like, you should do these. So like I pitched it to the morning show, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. And that's where the world records came from.
Let me read off some world records Todd holds for the listeners out there. Most Oreos eaten in 1 minute, which, some of these aren't too bad, but then we'll see an escalation. Most holiday decorations placed on a person. Here we go. Longest time wearing pumpkin on head.
Yeah, that was a big one.
I can imagine.
It was like something like 18 hours
That
or
had to be
17 hours or
ridiculous.
something.
Fastest time to eat a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah.
How fast did you eat the jar of
I
peanut butter?
think it was like a minute 40.
Good Lord. What was it, like no water and stuff?
I had water. I was allowed to use it. Was since we were creating the records.
Ah.
So part of the problem was that segment it was like the Wild Wild West. We were just having fun with it. When you work for a company that has suits, they analyze everything that you do.
Mm.
So the program directors got involved. They started seeing the success of this bit. We called it. Now we started it on Buckhead and Bubba, but then B94 went away. It's now 93.7 The Fan.
Okay.
Bubba gets transferred to Star. It was Jr. Bubba Shelley. Now it's a whole new show.
Mm-hmm.
Bubba brings me with him. He didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
he brings me with
kind.
him. So we're on to this concept, this world record concept that Kobe and I came up with, and it was World Record Monday. I would do it every Monday. I would come in.
But let me give, because this one is probably my most favorite one. Most steps recorded on a pedometer strapped to one's head in 1 minute.
Yeah, the human bobblehead. We got that from Minute to Win It, that idea.
Most lit fireworks strapped to a human at once.
Yes, there's the firework one.
3, 2, 1.
That one I want to ask you about.
15 fireworks.
So were they going off on your body?
Yeah.
Man, that didn't hurt?
No,
I mean, that's such a
I'll
stupid,
put the video
shallow
in.
question.
I'll put the video in.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch that beforehand, but that's incredible. Like, did you fear for anything at all?
At that point in my life, no. I was kind of like, I was in a shitty marriage.
Okay.
You know, I hated myself. I hated life. So I was just like, and then like she was the measuring stick because of how much of an asshole she was. She was the measuring stick of how crazy we were going to get. I'd be like, hey, I'm going on the radio tomorrow. What do you think about me wearing a woman's dress and high heels and doing the 40-yard dash? Well, that's fucking stupid. You're an asshole. Okay, that's what we're doing tomorrow. And that's where those, that's kind of like her reaction kind of pushed me to do it because we were on the way out. I mean, it was basically over at this point.
So you were just like, fuck it, we're going off the edge. Heaviest human in a homemade pinata.
Yeah, we used to do that a lot.
This one, longest time to sit on a heated George Foreman grill.
Yes, that's actually in the book. I have the book in the studio here. It's the only one that made the book. Here it is, the recordsetter.com book.
Oh wow.
I'm in this book.
So that one made the book.
Yeah.
How long is that record?
I think it was like 28 seconds, but in live events I did it 45, but I was I was drunk.
Oh shit. We have a contested record. We want him to
So
do it
that's-
again. That's crazy. So does it hurt after 20, or is it just like I don't want to risk it?
Well, I mean, you get like little burn marks on your butt. I've never been pushed enough
But
to
they're
the
grill
point.
marks, right? They're nice fancy
Yeah.
grill. So when you go for the darts, people got a nice lines. to
Well,
look
the
at.
darts look like freckles. The scars from the darts look like freckles. Like if I showed you my butt, it would look like freckles.
Most Ric Flair chops in 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was a chop and a woo.
Is that receiving or giving?
Receiving.
Oh.
My chest was all purple.
Who was hitting you?
Baba.
How many was how many was the record?
I don't remember. It was so long. It was probably like 10 years ago.
That's got to be intense. Highest wedgie.
Yeah, so the wedgie one was fun because I played a prank on Bubba. He was doing the wedgie, and it was like 23 inches or something.
Yeah.
He pulled it up. I wore like loose underwear. So I played a prank on him on the air when we went live. I caked the inside of my underwear with chocolate pudding.
Oh, I mean that's great, but
So it made a great video. It was fun.
Oh man, and I take it he thought that was something else.
Well, he kind of was wise to it, and he started licking the pudding off of his finger.
Oh, that's a great
in the
video.
video.
Oh my lord.
A lot of these are on YouTube. If you YouTube World Record Monday, they show up.
I have a question, because I don't know much about like Pittsburgh radio. I just know some of the names that are on there. Like, have you ever worked with Mark Madden?
I've never even met Mark. No.
Okay. And what about the fellas from the 96.1 The Morning Show?
I've met them. I think they are funnier off the air,
Really?
like in an uncontrolled environment, than they are on.
Fair enough. Now, can you start walking us a little bit more through this process? So you guys got switched. He brought you with you.
Bubba got so B94 died for the second time. They brought 93.7 The Fan in. And the weird story behind that is B94 and Kiss, they went off a ratings book. Radio's all ratings books and things like that. I mean, that's like the behind-the-scenes business stuff.
Tell you what, if I went off a ratings, I would have canceled myself a while ago.
But so CBS at the time, which is now Radio 1, it was Infinity at one point, they went off of a ratings book from like October, and B94 was losing the 96.1. Every radio book after that, B94 kicked 96.1's Kiss FM's ass, and Kiss FM was ready to pack up and go. And then all of a sudden the announcement came that 93.7 The Fan, they had a lot of success with The Fan in New York, so they brought it to the strongest signal in Pittsburgh, which is 93.7, and that's why B94 died. If that ratings book was different, The Fan would be on 100.7 right now.
Huh. That's what's the Star? Or is
Yeah,
that what it
it's
was?
Star, yeah.
Okay. So you're doing that. How do you switch to, where's your first, like, podcast come in then? Like, I guess, quote-unquote, official podcast. or the radio station, like Idiot Radio. What came first, I guess?
So we had the Village Idiots.
Mhm.
We were established. We were sending out on CDs. Then we started doing Justin.tv.
Which is unbelievable that that's Twitch.
Yeah, it's Twitch now. And we were doing it that way, and then we had stopped after I continued to work on B94. The guys kind of did their own thing. And it's weird for me, even to this day, like I started that new show. It's weird for me to do it without them.
By the way, good time to promo that show.
The PP Boys. And just the ppboys.com. We're about 2 episodes in. It's just infotainment, like just funny funny news stories and things like that. And we talk about food and music and movies and
Guys, make sure you check that out. You've heard him talk about some of those things during this episode, but none of it's been conventional. So I can assure you, his show is hilarious.
it's getting there. We're working on it. But so the podcasting really didn't come about until the next inclination of Idiot Radio, which I started this idea, and it was the Village. Well, it was the Village Idiots 2.0. I called it Double D Show because my nickname's Double D.
About what year is this?
Let's say about 2014, 2015. I kind of took a break. I went through my divorce, and the guys left, and I was off a star for a while, and then I started getting the itch back. I have a new life. I had met my wife at this point, my current wife, and we had a baby, and everything was like starting to get to normal again, and I was starting to be happy. I was starting to be myself, so I was like, I'm gonna try this again.
That's beautiful to hear, by the way.
Yeah. The happily ever after, whatever came, and so I started trying it again, and Double D Show came about. So the Village Idiots 2.0. When I started, it was just me.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, the guys started coming back one by one. So it was like the Village Idiot shows, but it was a different name.
Mm-hmm.
And we had our following still from the first time. We did that, and we just started doing it, and we won Best Podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
2017.
found success in that. That's that's a great accolade.
But where Idiot Radio comes into play, I wanted to do a studio. I was calling most of this stuff that you see in the studio to different bars.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
And we were recording the podcast. And we were just doing like an audio version, and it just didn't work. And then we started talking to a company in Pittsburgh. They were called the River's Edge.
Can I pull this out and show the camera
the championship belt?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
I would just want to show people that.
Yeah, so we had that made. The guy that makes the belts for Vince McMahon makes championship belts called Wildcat Belts out of Latrobe, PA. And we asked him to make that when we won. We pissed a lot of people off when we won that. Can you get it out?
I don't know how you got it. I think I got it now.
But yeah, so Wildcat Belts, the belt maker for Vince McMahon, made us a championship belt, and we kind of took it on our events with us after we won.
Yeah, because first off, pulling it out of here, it's heavier than I thought it would be. I'm not sure where the camera is. I'm hoping this is
Yeah, it's on camera.
This is dope.
I hope to have a few more before we hang it up.
Yeah, man.
Hanging on the walls.
So the guy who makes wow, this is nice quality. So this is like a WWE belt.
Yeah, it's their lowest end one. It doesn't have any jewels or engraving in it.
It's still very nice though.
Yeah, so it was fun. Like we have like strippers like taking pictures with it and stuff. So like naked chicks like took pictures.
I kind of want to create something now just to have a belt.
Create an award to make the belt.
Yeah, like something arbitrary, like I don't know, best podcast host out of Idiot Radio with the least amount of teeth. I just rock it with my belt.
So that's when we went into the traditional podcast, Double D Show. At that point, everything was like there was like a format, and we kind of like I wanted to work in a studio, and we signed with the River's Edge.
Okay.
And that lasted a whole 30 minutes.
Oh, really?
So, like, the guy that ran it, cool guy, friendly with him, still friendly with him. But he had, like, a business partner. And he was all excited about us coming. So we talked to the business partner. And the business partner's like, well, do you ever think about changing your logos and this and that? And she's telling me, oh, this looks like a cross between a nightclub and wrestling. And I was like, well, yeah, that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, she's like, but I don't get it. I was like, then you won't get the show.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we do. And she's up and down. And so that lasted about a whole 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
I was all excited. We cut promos for them, and we were going to be part of their team. And I was excited because then I didn't have to, like, do everything. I only had to do some stuff.
Yeah.
And I could concentrate on creative. Well, that didn't work. So then they were called River's Edge. So I immediately came up with Idiot Radio.
Okay.
And I was like, our catchphrase is going to be take it to the edge and back. So,
Oh wow.
So that's what,
Oh wow, that's great.
and the concept came from while we were on B94, Kid Chris. He's one of my like hits. It's like Howard Stern and Kid Chris. They're like right here, like guys I idolize. Kid Chris is about the same age as me. He's on mornings in Cincinnati, Ohio, on the DVE of Cincinnati, which is EBN, WEBN. He was in Philadelphia and gets fired. Creates this online radio station, which we have one now. But the whole idea for all of this came from him. Sweet 101 Rocks was all audio. We get the idea from him, and I worked with him. I've interviewed him. He's been on the Double D Show. If you go on the doubledshow.com, the interviews are on there. Funny guy, great guy. He gave us an opportunity. We were on Sweet 101 Rocks, and we were like right under his show. Like because he had no home, he was doing it there. And then we were broadcasting on opposite day. And that's where the idea of all this Idiot Radio and all that came from. So we have Idiot Radio now. And we've kind of grown with technology.
Yeah, no, you have a lot going on here. I know I'm here, Inquisitive Minds.
Yeah.
What's that? Gino's Comic to Comic?
Gino's Comic to Comic podcast.
Greenfield's Finest.
Greenfield's Finest records here. They're not technically. They're like if we do anything, they're kind of like syndicated here. They're not technically an Idiot Radio show. But then we have Gino's Comic to Comic, Yinzer Club, the Triple B Experience, Triple B Double D Heavyweight Podcast. We have Best of the Village Idiots, the PP Boys, the Best of the Double D Show.
Is there a Ham?
Ham Radio is out of New York. They syndicate in, and we have a few other ones from around the world that syndicate in. And we're growing because people always want to do podcasts.
Yeah, no. The first time I met you was
comedy show.
Yeah, Howie D and I know him.
Jay
Cooper.
Yeah.
I know him well. I don't know why I couldn't remember. They invited me to do a comedy show that was filmed here.
Right.
In
right during the heart of the pandemic.
And obviously, since the pandemic, I wanted to switch up a little bit, get something done, and I wanted to do a podcast. And I just, where do you start? That type of thing. And I know I'm not super technologically sound. Like even when I record at home, I have a Yeti microphone.
Yeah, it's working out good.
I do little program. Like I don't know the ins and outs of this, so I wanted to find someone I thought had a studio, was professional, and day one, I've had no problems working with you here.
Yeah, we've had nothing but success. It's getting better, and
yeah, absolutely. And it's I worried at first that it's Idiot Radio, and some of my guests are like in weird fields that get ridiculed.
That's one of my biggest regrets. I did it as a tribute to and I never in a million years thought it would be where it is. Mm-hmm. Like we've had some pretty decent stuff come along the way. Especially after we won that award. I was Jim Crenn, DVE legend. I was his co-host and producer.
What's up, Jim? Answer me back, Jim. I sent him a message and a phone call.
He has
Jim
COVID.
Crenn,
he has COVID right now, so he'll get back to you.
We all got COVID, Jim. Answer me back.
But yes, I got to work with 2 out of the 3 idols. Well, 3 out of the 4 of my 4 idols I got to work with. So Howard, I'd like but that's a little more.
I got you, Todd. Howard Stern, quit fucking around. Have him on.
So yeah, I got to work with all those guys, and I got to film a TV show with Jim. So we did this is taking it a lot. So I do feel what you were saying, Idiot. I wish I would have come up with a different name, a more
though?
PC. But it's also so obscure that people remember it.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
And I tell you what, my fears were just my fears because it's never once came up with anyone.
Yeah.
Like, they've never been hesitant because I tell them it's an idiot radio. They're like, oh, that's cool. Because, like I said, if you get a UFO hunter in here, sometimes, I don't want them to think it's a setup.
Right,
like,
right.
So where's your goddamn proof, kid?
Well, I think now your reputation is in that community.
I would
is
hope
pretty high.
I would hope so.
They've that's kind of like any concerns anybody's had.
I had a guest scheduled for Today Joe Venture. He had to go out of state, unfortunately, but we will return for him in the future. I do have some very interesting paranormal guests this month coming up. Two of them that are authors, written a bunch of books. And you know what? A lot of these things, these guys are also in like documentaries. They all got like crazy TV credits, like History Channel stuff.
Well, that's how you know you're going in the right direction, because you're getting the right people.
I hope so. The big thing about, since we're talking about podcasts, did you find challenges with marketing?
Oh,
like it's finding listenership.
There's always, and one of the things that I do is I research the people that are like the most successful in their fields. Right now, Joe Rogan, Barstool. Like, I try to model them, and I don't try to copy them. I try to model what they do and conform it to what I do, if that makes any sense, without stealing what they're doing.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the radio show Coast to Coast?
No.
It's George Norrie was a host at one point. It's like a radio show, but they have people on that have seen Bigfoot or have seen ghosts or weird shit like that. And I kind of look at my show as like Joe Rogan meets Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing what he does. I'm not him.
Right.
But I like the fact that I can sit down and talk with someone and get to know them for an hour or two.
Yeah, no, it's from day one, your concept and everything it's different. No one else is really doing it, so I mean I'm
trying, man. And this is also me pleading to listeners. Come on the show. You got something weird for me, come on the show.
And what's nice is you're not pigeonholing yourself into certain things. Like, one week you send positive messages, and
I have an R&B singer coming on
nice
within a week or so, who is his name is Mesmerize.
Oh.
And the following week he is opening up for Bun B.
Nice.
In Houston.
Nice.
Or Dallas, excuse me. Forgive me if I misspoke. But like I'm trying to get all aspects, because I don't want people to think it's just for paranormal stuff.
Right, and that's what's nice is like you had the Hayes family here.
And I'm sure they'll be back on again. They're so interesting.
You do helpful, you do things that send positive messages. You did awareness for veteran suicide, things like that. And that, when I created the Second Inclination, like the Double D show, and I came off that bad period of life, and I was in a good period. So now my motivation, like my original motivation was, I want to be Howard Stern. I want to be famous. Then my motivation kind of changed. I met good people like Jim Crenn, and like he's such a good guy, and like he has like Mr. Rogers, like modeling things after them. Like, I want to take this to the next level and be famous or use whatever fame I can get from it for good.
Yeah.
Like, we do like comedy shows. We do comedy fundraisers for people. That was one way I could give back. Like I did I taught a class at the Brookline Teen Outreach on podcasting for kids.
Okay.
So like I tried, like if I can get bigger, my ultimate goal in the long run would be for single dads.
Okay. That's
some
pretty
kind
dope.
of voice for single dads. But we're a long ways off from that, but that's my intentions.
No, that's amazing. That's an underrepresented portion of people. You don't rarely ever hear about single dads.
Yeah, and going through the things I went through, and things like that, it's something that I see other guys go through.
Now, your little caveman fella, your oldest is from your first relationship.
Yeah, my first mistake. Yeah, okay. But he was the best part of it. Like,
yeah.
And I eventually, many people told me, "Oh, everything will be fine." There was a rough patch, and then everybody said, it'll all work out, and it did. And getting through that was probably the hardest thing. So like, from a mental aspect, I want to create a platform for dads. Because there was times I wanted to jump off the bridge. I'm not gonna lie. And then I just kept fighting through. So going through that, then going legal help,
Yeah.
things like that, and rights, being an advocate for rights for dads.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of stories that I've seen. So the ultimate goal, I got a little serious there, but ultimate goal is to keep getting darts thrown at my ass and shoot fireworks out of my butt and try to go get viral and get bigger and grow this idiot radio and then I can be an advocate for that. And then like kids, I like to do things with kids and help kids. So like that's the ultimate goal.
I never envisioned myself as a podcaster. I'll say I went to college for mass communications with a minor in broadcasting. For what I was going to do with it, I have no clue. But after the missus, okay, try stand up. I had no idea my life was going to do stand up.
Right.
And then, COVID, well shit, I'm going to do a podcast. Now that I do this, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I could say, oh, I don't care if nobody listens, I'd still do it. That's essentially where I'm at. I get listeners, but I don't get huge numbers. By the way, those of you listening, thank you. But like, I love doing this so much that it's I can put it out there. No one stops me. No one has control over what I can say. It's just freeing. And if I wanted to come in here every week and instead of having someone fascinating, I just wanted to scream into a mic.
You could do it.
About people I fucking hated or something, like
you could vent.
Chicken wings pissed me the fuck off, like this is such a freeing medium.
And I hear comics talk about this all the time, is the high. When you come off stage, when you kill.
Yeah.
Now you probably didn't have it Friday.
No, man, Todd. It's like I walked in the hell and told the devil to go fuck himself. That's essentially what I did.
Well, you were close to Cleveland, so hell, Cleveland, same thing. But
I'm dope in 49 states. Fuck you, Ohio.
I feel like I haven't chased that. Like, now the wrestling show that I do with Bubba and Gary DeBar, the Triple B Double D Heavyweight Podcast, we only do it once in a while. We do it for like big pay-per-views. That is very natural. Like right now, it's very natural, fun. But I feel like I'm always chasing that high that I would get from the Double D show and the Village Idiots. I just can't recreate that, and it was just such a euphoric feeling when we would do something insanely funny, like when you have grown men in tears because they're laughing so hard. That was one of the things. Or like where you're doing something and a whole group of people just stop what they're doing and they're watching, and then getting the feedback from what you're doing. And
absolutely. Excuse me. I get to high some when you have a great set on stage.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. You've seen me have shitty interviews.
Yeah.
You've seen me have great interviews. If an interview goes extremely well, I leave here with a euphoric high.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to somebody like, how'd it go? Oh, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm real honest to the people close to me in my life. So if they ask me how'd it go, I'll tell them.
Yeah.
It's a fucking shitty show. I'll never say who was a shitty show publicly.
Yeah.
Because I respect and love all of you that came on the show.
So tomorrow I'll be like, this was a shitty show. No, I'm just kidding.
No, like, and with the process, like you're saying, this is natural. I didn't realize that interviewing is a skill that you have to work at. And I think, I have a long way to go, but I think I'm getting smoother just talking with these random people about what they're passionate
interviewing, too, is a lot of listening.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've learned where I tried to take the interview. Sometimes sitting back, the interview takes it to itself to different places.
That's the fun of it, though.
Yeah.
Like, I can have you on and we can say what the structure is, but if we're vibing and it's a natural conversation, bro, talk about whatever the fuck you want because it's interesting.
Yeah,
When
that's,
people's mind wander, it's fascinating.
and that's good. I mean, I think from early on, I complimented your interviewing style from the beginning. I think I said that was your strong suit for not doing it and then just coming into it. I mean, that's something you were strong at from day one.
I'll be honest, man. The show is about you. You know, the show is about whoever's on.
Yeah,
Like, I'm just here to find out information. But essentially, if I could ask you one question and you talked for an hour explaining it, perfect. Because
Yeah.
we tune in to learn about you.
yeah, and that's Dan Aykroyd's our mecca.
Oh,
So
man.
we'll hit him.
Oh, I sent Kevin Smith, I DM'd him
Yeah,
on Instagram. Kevin Smith, answer your fucking Instagram, dude. I figured, you know what I figured? What's the worst he could say was no. I messaged a lady the other day, and I'll tell you off air what she does. But I messaged her and asked her, you know, you want to be a guest on the show? She asked me for numbers, and I provided some numbers, you know, honestly. And she was like, "Oh, I usually request financial compensation for you know, smaller market." I'm like, you know, I appreciate you being honest, but that's absurd.
have a nice day.
Yeah, have a nice day. Like, not to throw names out here, but I feel like Monique Dupree was like my most well-known guest. She's an amazing guest. She's
Yeah.
a wrestler, a scream queen. Like, she's
Yeah.
done so much, and I've talked to her since. She's nothing but humble and nice, and like that's what draws me into someone is when they work so hard, but they can still treat you like a human.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, you'll see both sides of it. I mean,
Well,
Diamond Dallas Page, we interviewed him, and he was super cool. He
Really?
gave me the yoga for free, which I mean, as you can tell, I'm not using it. But yeah, he gave me the yoga for free for life.
for life.
Yeah,
Todd, what's up with them yoga promo
I'll give you
codes?
my passwords.
That is so dope. You know, I don't get starstruck by many people, even the thought of him. But, like, he's one of those guys that grew up, and when you were watching wrestling, he was never,
Yeah.
like, the man, but he was always up there doing
Yeah.
crazy shit and so
Yeah.
high energy.
Yeah, and then his wrestling career was over.
Yeah.
And he evolved and he changed, and now he has the biggest yoga company in the world.
And from what I understand, because I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan, obviously, but a lot of his yoga works on strengthening your back muscles.
Yeah, that's what it started from. He had a back injury, and that's why his career ended, and that's how
And
he got there.
And yeah, I guess if you can work on getting the back strength around the muscles around the actual back strengthened, sometimes you won't even need corrective surgery.
Yeah, I should recommend that to some people that I know.
So Todd, promo yourself, man. Where can the people find you? Shout it all out.
Oh man, just idiotradio.net's kind of like the one-stop shop for everything. It has all the shows that we do. Also, ToddDeFazio.com. It's kind of like I probably don't keep up with it as much as I should during COVID, but ToddDeFazio.com has all of my stuff. Like it's like it has my personal. Idiot Radio is like the business side of it. And that's pretty much it. We're on all the socials, Idiot Radio, Idiot Radio Net, on Instagram. So
Okay, guys, make sure you check that out. Okay, so got another show coming up this week on the 5th. I'll be in Erie at Voodoo Brewery. I'll be doing some time up there, guys. I assure you, even if I shit on the Browns, it should go better. So check it out. Because you know what, Todd, I spent a lot of time in Erie. My buddy Dan,
yeah,
by the way, shout out to What in the History and upcoming project, Murderous States of Mind. It's all about serial killers. So I spent a lot of time in Erie. And if you shit on them in Erie, they're just like, yeah, that's about right. Seems about right.
my wife and I have talked several times about moving there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we over the years we've definitely considered it.
Erie's been a significant part of my comedy
Yeah,
my comedy career. I won my first roast up there.
nice.
Yeah.
And even when you go to the Walmart there's no Goonies working there. Everybody's normal. Like it's clean.
To risk either one of us getting canceled, I'm not even going to ask what a Goonie is. We're just going to go out on that. Todd DeFazio. Hey, man, appreciate you coming on. Seriously.
Thanks for
Great
thanks for having me.
episode. Guys, check us out everywhere, all streaming platforms. Latest update, we are on iHeartRadio, and I should be hearing back. Hopefully, we're going to be on Pandora soon, guys.
Nice.
So, hey, peace and love.